Good to be with you again today, offering you a meditation, something to think about as you go through your week. Before we get to it, just really one announcement. Our brothers and sisters at the Alden United Methodist Church this coming Sunday are having their handball lunch, and we invite you to go and support them and support their mission and their ministry in their community. Enjoy it. So this week, in the lectionary for this Sunday is this interesting story in the 9th chapter of Mark, and if you're interested in reading it, its verse starts at verse 30. So Jesus and the disciples, as in Mark, secretly are walking, and Jesus shares the passion prediction. Right? Jesus is telling the disciples, at least for the second time in Mark, that Jesus is going to suffer and die and be resurrected. But as usually the case, the disciples aren't listening, or they're afraid to ask any questions, they're not getting it, and they begin to have a conversation among themselves, who's the greatest of them. Right? It might be a response, who's going to be the one who takes over for Jesus. Well, after the walking, they find themselves in this house. Jesus asked them what they were talking about, and they stay silent. And Jesus tells them, if you want to be first, you need to be last. That you need to be a person of serving others if you want any kind of greatness. And to make his point, he picks up a child and says, those who welcome such as these welcome me and the one who sends me. A real strong metaphor for how we are to live our lives as a follower and a disciple of Christ, of serving the least among us. But I have a question. Right? The question that came to my mind this year as I was reading it is, where did the child come from? Right? They were walking by themselves secretly. They find themselves in a house. There is no record of anybody else being there, and all of a sudden, nothing is said. Jesus picks up a child. Is Jesus the only one that sees the vulnerable? A lot of times we only see what we want to see, or we only see what we expect to see. That's why every fall, as we're coming into the fall, there's this reminder to you to watch for the children on the sidewalk, on the buses, because we've gotten out of that routine during the summer. We're not looking for kids during the summer. Likewise, in the spring, there'll be the notice, look for my motorcycles, because we've gotten out of the routine of looking and seeing motorcycles. So what are we missing? What are we not seeing? Are you seeing all the vulnerable ones, all the weak ones, all the ones who are oppressed in your community? Or do you not expect to see any here in Iowa Falls, so you don't see any? Are you seeing the children? Because it's hard to serve the child if we don't see them to begin. So I invite you to reflect on that this week. How's your eyesight when it comes to serving Christ? Are you seeing what Jesus sees in our community? We'll see you next week.